impacted restaurants in a way none of us could have imagined 2 years ago. According to The Economist, on Thursday, April 9th, 2020, OpenTable reported 0 restaurant reservations in America, a site that usually does millions of reservations a day, down to 0. And then in mid-2021, we thought we were recovering until Delta and then Omicron. The National Restaurant Association now estimates that about 100,000 restaurants have shut down since the beginning of the pandemic. A recent survey by the Independent Restaurant Coalition estimates that 58% of restaurants saw their sales decline by over 50% just in this last December. And you combine that with inflation, labor shortages, and supply chain issues, and we have the perfect storm. But eating out is an activity that we as a people love. The average American eats out 5 times a week. And to discuss this disruption and to discuss opportunities arising from this disruption, I have an amazing group of people with me today. Ellen Yin is the co-founder and owner of High Street Hospitality Group that operates A Kitchen, Fork, High Street Philly, High Street and Hudson. Ellen's a multi-year nominee for Outstanding Restaurateur by the James Beard Foundation. Jay Shah is the CEO of Harsha Hospitality Trust, which owns and operates hotels, including the Rittenhouse here in Philadelphia, which is home to Scarpetta and La Croix. Munish Narula is the founder and president of the Narula Restaurant Group, which is the creator of Tiffin Indian Cuisine with its 9 locations in Greater Philadelphia. And David Spungen is a partner at Regent Atlantic, where he provides independent advice to successful entrepreneurs, many in restaurants, CPG, and food tech. But before I go to our panelists, a note to our audience. Please participate as best as a Zoom webinar allows. Enter your questions or comments in the chat, and I will attempt to weave them into the discussion and allocate time for the panelists to address your questions directly. Okay, let's quickly go around the virtual table. Ellen, let me begin with you. Could you introduce yourself and your company and tell us what compelled you to make your career in the restaurant and hospitality industry?
Well, Ellen Yin, I'm co-founder of High Street Hospitality Group. As you said, we operate several restaurants in the Philadelphia area. Fork, which is celebrating its 25th year starting in October, A Kitchen and Bar, where we've managed since 2013. High Street, that's been open and replaced another concept that we had for 16 years. And High Street Provisions, where we dabbled in a quick serve format, and High Street Philly, which was High Street on Market and has a bakery and prepared foods takeout. So, you know, I, like many people in this industry, started out working in college or high school. In fact, David and I were trying to figure out whether our paths crossed at one of my, all-time, best memories of the hospitality industry, restaurant La Terrace and Penn campus. But I started out, and I always had this bug about me that this was something that I loved. And although I tried other careers in healthcare and in consulting, I never found my niche until I opened the restaurant 25 years ago.
And we are happy you did, all of us who've eaten at any one of your restaurants, Ellen. Thank you. Jay?
Sure. Thanks, Himesh. Thanks, everyone, for joining this afternoon. We can't see you. You can see us, kind of a asymmetrical advantage, but we'll work with it. My company is called Harsha Hotels and Resorts, and our business is organized along 2 lines. We've got a publicly traded real estate investment trust where we own hotels in the major coastal gateway markets in the United States. And we're somewhat sector agnostic, but very geographically focused. We operate 3, 4, and 5-star hotels in markets such as Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Miami, and then similar urban metros down the East Coast and select resort destinations. The other part of our business is a private equity platform that acts as a sponsor equity platform in making hotel investments, and also a management platform. So the managed portfolio at HHM, which is the affiliated management company, is they're close to 200 hotels today nationwide, less geographically specific, and our portfolio at the REIT consists of 35 hotels today. You know, my introduction to the hospitality business started in the fact that this is a family business. I spent my 6th, 7th, and 8th grade years living at the Red Rose Motel in Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. And talk about grassroots hospitality, that was it. You know, my parents would go out to see their friends on weekends and things, and I would be babysitting my younger brother at the time, who grew up quickly, and I would be the desk clerk. And after someone checked in, I'd run around and help them with their bags to their room. And inevitably 10 minutes later, they would call and say the TV wasn't working. So I'd head over there with a tool belt and fix the TV. But it was a real basic grassroots level introduction to hospitality. And as Ellen said, you know, for those that it's a fit, it gets in your blood. And you kind of, I went to law school, I worked on Capitol Hill, I tried and tried, but here I am again.
Thank you, Jay. Let's go to Munish.
Thanks, Himesh. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Munish Narula. I'm the founder and president of Tiffin Indian Cuisine. We run 9 restaurants in the region, and also we have a new brand now called Indian Chaat Factory, which is a virtual ghost kitchen, if you will. I've been in the hospitality industry for over 30 years now, taking a break in between to do my MBA and do some investment banking and private equity work. And obviously, not obviously, but I kind of hated it, wanted to get back into the hospitality. So here I am, like Jay and Ellen said, it gets in your blood, you can't get out. And I'm happy to be here today.
That's amazing. I'm loving these vignettes into each of your journeys. David.
So it's a little bit of a trick question, because I sort of don't make my living in the hospitality industry. So the background, and Ellen sort of referenced it, is I went to Penn, and while I was in Penn, when my bar mitzvah money ran out, I started working at La Terrasse in West Philadelphia. Worked 2 nights and Sunday brunch, which is a terrible idea when you're in college, because Sunday brunch comes very quickly after Saturday night, as I learned. But I caught the bug, and I loved, I learned that I could cook. And, being in a restaurant like that, which at the time, La Terrasse was one of the best restaurants in the city and a really special place. And, I remember being there on a Saturday night when the waiters were polishing the silver and washing the glasses. It was like theater. It was like getting ready for the show. And, it, like everyone said, it gets in your blood. So I said, this is my thing. This is what I'm going to do, much to my parents' chagrin, who thought I was going to go be a doctor or something. And, they did not stand in the way of my doing that. I did that after I graduated for a couple of years, became the opening chef at the White Dog Cafe, where Judy Wicks, who was the general manager at La Terrasse, had been, and we knew each other from there. And, I did it for a couple of years, and, I love the environment and love the act of, it's almost like alchemy when you go into a kitchen and, you turn all these raw ingredients into something, you put it on a plate, and someone pays $30 for it, and they're happy that, mostly happy that they do it. And so I just made a decision at a certain point that the lifestyle, it is a hard way to make a living. It's a labor of love. And I basically made a decision that I'd sort of get more benefit from being a talented amateur than a mediocre professional, and stepped out and got into finance. And I've been working with business owners and entrepreneurs for the last 30 years. About 5-6 years ago, for a number of reasons, I started focusing back on entrepreneurs in the food and beverage space, hospitality being a big part of that. And, with the development of, and the opportunities for restaurateurs and chefs to grow their businesses and be successful. And so it's my sort of backdoor way of being in the industry, but I get to go home at night, and I don't work nights and weekends. But I do think that, hospitality, when you think about your memories and the great, things that happen, a lot of them happen at a table where, you're in a restaurant, there's food and there's drink and there's friends and family. And it's, I think when restaurants, that period in March, April of 2020, when you could not go to a restaurant, you sort of sat there and said, I wonder if we'll ever be able to do that again. Everyone realized how much they missed that. So I'm a big fan and cheerleader of the Ellens and the other folks in the world who had the staying power to stay with it through all this and create those tables for us to enjoy those moments. So.
Thank you, David. That's a great sentiment. Again, I'm very grateful to all of you, to each of you, for joining us today, not only to talk about your business, but clearly this is such a personal passion for each of you.